Hello and welcome, lovers of games, dice, and most importantly, stories, to IQ D&D. This is our second episode of the Ramshackle Adventure, as it will henceforth be known. I am your effervescent dungeon master, James Webster. I'm going to change the adjective every time. And here are our lovely players. Please introduce yourself, starting with Hugo.
Hi, I'm Hugo Jackson. I obviously belong to Inspired Quill. I'm an author, and my character is Faria Ferraco.
Super. And next, Sarah.
Hi folks, I'm Sara-Jayne Slack. I'm the Managing Director of Inspired Quill, which basically just means that I answer lots of emails and do a bit of editing. These folks do all the hard work. And my character is actually from James's book Heroine Chic, and I'm playing Wendy Quill.
Lovely. And now Craig.
Hi, I'm Craig Hallam. I do no hard work whatsoever. I am one of IQ's other authors. I tend to write things like steampunk, and my character is Alan Shaw.
Fantabulous. And David.
Hi, I'm David. I'm an author at Inspired Quill, and I write space-based science fiction. I'm the newbie to Dungeons and Dragons, the everyman, and my character is from one of my books called Under the Shell, and they're called Jack Peliarkin. No, Jack Peliarkin. In the book they're called Jack Peliarkin. Here it's called Jack Peliarkin. There we go.
Done. Set. And we've solved all those cross-continuity issues. Brilliant. So when last we left our heroes, they had all followed different investigative strands that all seemed to connect to the same mystery. We had a couple who met in one of the labs where they were looking for Professor Bustius's missing experiment, and the other was pursuing an errand for father, which she received a message saying with dire warnings that this could lead to his death, so took that on herself. On the other side, there was a murder being investigated by Jack, which was a slightly odd territory, where the City Watch, called the Orderlies, couldn't intervene, so they set Jack on the trail. And Wendy got involved because her old friend Slightly had been having a hard time and some weird dreams and things, and just got this sense that there was something weird and bad that had entered the city, and the trail led to the same place as the murder happened. And then, after touching a weird magical aura in the lab, Faria and Alan got teleported into the murder scene. And that is where we left off. So you've just appeared in a cloud of energy. A flash occurs, and the two familiar figures have emerged on the scene.
I kind of feel like touching a ball of energy is maybe not the best idea you ever had.
It's probably not the worst Alan's ever had either, to be fair. It's somewhere on the spectrum, but probably not the worst.
You're now all in the room. There's been a magical discharge, and what do you all want to do?
Probably try not to throw up would be my first action.
Excellent. Do you want to roll a Constitution saving throw for me?
Oh no. 15.
Yeah, that's fine. You feel a little queasy, but you keep it together. No one notices, and you look suitably dramatic still.
Excellent.
I'm going to take a step back from the portally thing that's just sort of spewed out these two, just as a kind of self-preservation thing.
Cool.
So you take a step back.
Kind of take a look around, look at Faria, and just say, well, I actually thought that we'd been disintegrated there, so that turned out all right, didn't it?
Could have been worse.
Could have been worse, yeah.
Guess that takes you
Have
from
you, like-
a distant shore to a not so distant shore. Haha.
Hey.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I heard that one before.
And to tell you a bit about the room that you're in, after the kind of magic fades, you can see this is a fairly sparse office. There's a desk with some papers on it, blood-stained. There are a couple of little stools, one for the person who died here and one for for any guests. So one is slightly nicer than the other. And there's a bookshelf on one wall, which is that little black squiggly line, kind of oblong that you can see on your map.
Cool. Is there any blood between the paper and the head of the person who died? Like, are there blood splatters elsewhere, or is it literally just on the paper and just on the floor?
So maybe an investigation check to kind of work this out. Work out what might have... So a little crime scene investigation.
Yeah. If I can
I've
find
seen
the
episodes of
details.
Cagney and Lacey. Allow this to
I tell you what, make me a perception check that's going to be easy. That's just going to be a 10 difficulty you need to hit. And then an investigation that will be a bit higher, probably about 15, to try and work out what actually happened.
Okay, right. I've finally got my...
Just before you do that, I just want to make one thing clear, right? I'm being paid to investigate this murder, and I'm not sharing the money with you lot. So if you lot want to just join in, that's absolutely fine. But I'm not sharing the money.
I'm just going to roll my eyes because I've heard this before.
Yeah, multiple times.
I rolled a 9, but I think I have pluses on my...
Yeah, you've got a +1 to your perception.
Yep.
So that'll hit the 10s. So yeah, you see a couple of little other splatters of blood between the desk and the body. They're not a lot. It seems just a couple of droplets across the floor.
Okay.
And what was your investigation? Was that a set? Because did you roll that separately?
My investigation was even worse. I rolled an 8.
Yeah, you've got no idea what happened here.
Oh, we suck at
Like,
this, don't
this
we?
person's probably dead. You haven't checked.
I'm now going to push Sarah aside and
Yeah, so
get
Jack
in on the
pushes Wendy
investigation
aside.
with my extra super big bonuses.
Are we standing in any of the blood? Did we materialize in
No,
the
you have
crime?
thankfully avoided stepping in the blood splatters.
Cool.
I've only been
Okay.
awake a few hours, and it's already been an extraordinarily long day.
So let's just move Jack up to the body. There we go. And yeah, give me an investigation roll. So roll your d20, and you are adding a fairly high number because you are good at this.
Yeah. Okay, I got 14 plus 8.
Wow.
22.
Oof.
To be fair, if I'm still by the door, the fact that I can't see what's happening isn't necessarily to do with the fact that I'm just a bit crap.
And Wendy
Sure.
Yeah, Wendy tells herself this and feels a little better for it.
Yes. Yeah.
So yeah, looking at the kind of investigation, the kind of layout of the room where the body's fallen and a couple of blood splatters, it seems like this person started bleeding maybe from like the nose or the ears, some kind of on various orifices around their face. Actually, it's a little unfortunate, and then
Blood just
fell
a bloody
backwards, and the blood just kept pooling there. So from a lot of the splatter around there was just from the fall. That most and a bit seems to have just dripped down onto the papers on the table before they fell over. You don't see any really obvious signs of a struggle necessarily.
Do we know who this person is? Because we recognised the mage person, alchemist, in the last room.
Yeah,
Oh,
this
damn it.
is
Zephyr.
the door plate
lost that one.
outside, which two of you will have seen, read Professor Ambrose Mab, the Professor of Peaceful Visitation. So roll, I guess, a
That's
If you want,
that's a
yeah,
little.
it's an ironic little name there, little position. So if you want to know who this person is, I guess roll maybe a history check. What do you think's appropriate?
Let's have a look. Okay. Oh no, this is not going to go well.
Is this all of us, James?
Yeah. If you want to like look at this person's face and think if you know them, yeah, absolutely roll.
That is a massive 8.
You're not sure. Alan meets a lot of people.
I
They
got-
all kind of blend together. They let you know if they're important.
That's so yeah. That's
What did
absolutely
other people
bang
get?
I got 1.
Yeah,
You're not
not
looking at
a
the
clue.
body.
No.
It's just
19.
D20.
Yeah,
Yep.
D20.
19.
So 2 19s, yeah. Those of you who got 19s, this is sometimes a prominent person in the city because sometimes when the gate at the center of Ramshackle opens, it opens to places with an existing government. And when that happens, diplomacy needs to occur.
Ooh.
Diplomancy, that most vile of magical schools. And those places often have wild and alien customs. So there is absolutely a school of research that looks into how to relate to those people, how to negotiate with them, and sometimes those researchers are brought in as experts to help guide the negotiations. And this is definitely one of those people who has been involved in prominent negotiations with Ramshackle to other places. I think that so Jack will probably know this person from back in the days as an orderly on the force. You were probably like on protective detail for this person a couple of times. And for Wendy, what do you think makes sense for how you would come across this person?
Maybe they were one of the first people I spoke to when I came to Ramshackle.
Yeah, that absolutely makes sense because you have that storied past and came from other places.
Yeah.
So yeah, this person was one of the people who kind of when you were processed after you came to the city helped you acclimatize and kind of worked out, is there anything we need to be aware of politically about your situation?
Mm-hmm.
Could I quickly just go through his pockets, please?
Yeah, are you being like stealthy about this, or are you just obviously going through the pockets?
I'm kind of doing it while the others are talking.
Are we
Okay.
talking, folks? Is that something that's happening?
Yeah, like
Or whatever you're doing. I'm just trying to surreptitiously go through the pockets.
so while Jack was kind of looking at the body and was kind of like describing it as they went, oh look, they fell over backwards that way. Doesn't seem an obvious murder. What were the rest of you doing? Were you talking or?
So we've been shoved through a magical thing. Why we ended up here, of all places?
A
Next to
magical
a dead
thing
bloke.
where?
Farrier, where were we?
We were trying to.
I wrote it down.
We're in the temple
I
of.
wrote it down. Alan did not write it down.
We're in the temple of Saga, delivering. I was delivering this apron to Professor Zephyr, who appeared to be somewhat prostrate on the floor when we got there, potentially dead.
Yeah, he looked a bit dead as well, didn't he?
Tiny bit.
I was sent to turn off a magical machine, which is why I poked the thing, and then I poked it, and then we ended up here.
Yep.
So,
Yeah, I think the body you saw in the other lab, you didn't have a chance to really look at it properly before you touched the magical vortex and got sucked
we can
in.
go
So
back. We know where
you're not,
it is.
You're not really
He's
sure.
not going to
Yeah.
move. He's
But
dead.
yeah, So yeah, and you all know that temple to Saga was in the Candle district of Ramshackle. Okay, so there was some talking that did happen. So by all means, make a stealth roll for me, or I guess actually no, a sleight of hand roll is what's fitting for this.
Yes. 16.
Okay, let me just check what everyone's passive perception is.
13.
14 for me.
Okay, I don't think Wendy's is gonna be.
11.
Yep, there we go. So yeah, no one really notices you going through the pockets. They just think you're examining the body.
Excellent.
In those pockets, you find various quills and kind of an ink pot. What else would this person have? Like a small pouch of money with just like a handful of silver and copper pieces in it. So say like 4 silver pieces and 8 copper. If you want to take that, you can.
That's in my
That's
pocket
gone.
now.
Great. Please remember to add that to your character sheet. 4 silver and 8 copper.
Where do I put
And there is about halfway down, there's a little bit with, we'll say CP, SP, EP, GP.
Yes.
So you can just add it in there.
8 copper and 4 silver.
Yep. So not a huge amount of money, but what you might expect an academic to be carrying around just for their daily tasks. And not much else. It seems this person wasn't carrying a lot on them.
Can we take a look at the letter? Is it in a language that we can read?
Yeah, if you want to walk over to the desk and have a look at it's not just a letter, it's actually a little stack of papers.
Okay.
And it seems that the title which is scratched out a couple of times. This person tries to come up with the right title for this paper, and the current title seems to be a treatise on the city-states of the Tangle, a meditation on rebirth.
Everyone's desperately writing.
Let's see, I had this somewhere. A meditation on rebirth, shifting perspectives, and and the perpetual society.
Interesting.
And
what about the papers underneath? Do they have any sort of titles or?
no, they seem to be just a continuation of this
Okay.
of this paper that he's been writing.
Okay. The
And
desk.
it's quite dense academic language.
Fun.
Okay, who's got the
I think I
slot?
just got a headache hearing you read that out, actually.
Yeah. Does the desk have any drawers?
Yeah, there are a couple of drawers there.
Can we see if they're unlocked?
They see if you want to do you want to give them a rattle?
Yeah, I'll give the one I'm closest to, which I think would be the left-hand side, probably.
That opens easily enough. Actually, give me a perception check as well while you're opening this.
Okay. Natural 20.
Oh wow, yeah. You notice actually there are some scuffs on the top of kind of the join on the drawer, and the lock on it actually you first thought it was just unlocked, but it looks like this has actually been forced open.
Okay.
Previously, and it's a little bit of a mess of papers in here. There doesn't seem to be anything too interesting.
Okay. I think I'm probably going to say out loud that it looks like this drawer's been forced open. Jack, have you seen any indication that someone else was in this room before we were, apart from this guy?
I'm having a look around.
Yeah. Actually, with that natural 20 as well, because I want to honor the natural 20, that you see there, it looks like there are some little kind of marks, just scratches in the wood around that lock. And as you kind of look down, these seem to come up the leg of the desk as well, almost like something small has kind of clawed their way up it.
Okay.
And that it leaves a few scratches in the door, in the floorboards as well.
Right. Is it possible to look back, if that makes sense? So go down the leg and then across the floor.
Yeah, absolutely. It looks like something might have come in the window.
I know that's how this is going to sound, folks, but I think it might have been rodents.
I'm just going to kind of look from the paper to the dead body. Like,
Not the dead body, the drawer thing. Whatever's happened here. Look, you can see the marks.
How does everyone react to this?
I mean, yeah, I can
Because
see the
bear in mind, Wendy
marks, but,
hasn't said anything too much about the drawer as they've been investigating it. So just come out with, I think it might be rodents.
I'll kind of look at Farrier and just be like,
It's because my brain just goes 3 steps ahead and I forget that other people can't see inside my brain.
Absolutely.
Is there anything in the drawer?
Hmm?
Is there anything in the drawer?
Papers, it looks like, nothing of much importance. Feel free to have a check yourself, though.
No kind of nest or anything.
No, it doesn't look like anything's been nesting in
the
there.
The drawer's been forced open.
Yeah, what about the other drawer?
I've not checked. I'm not on that side of the table.
is the window closed?
No, the window is still open.
Okay.
If I look out the window, what part of the city am I overlooking, or what do I see?
So if you look out the window, and you're still, this is a ground floor office, so you can just see the kind of garden quad of this college building.
Okay.
So does that mean it's internal facing?
Yeah.
Okay.
But there's another one, isn't there? Because we had the option of jumping in through the window.
So you did, and
There's
I wish
always one.
you had to remember that, didn't you? Okay, let's say this is a building on 3 sides. So there's like a copter of 3 sides, and then it's open. So you could have gone in through the yeah.
Quad.
It still has 4 sides. It's just one is kind of open onto a little bit of parkland, and that's where you could have gone in through and into a window. That makes the most sense. Thank you, David.
Sorry.
I heard thank you, but my brain registered it as another 2-word phrase.
Oh, that's weird. I think you should take a look at that.
That's weird.
I just assumed that if I had gone in through the window, I'd have been in the wrong office.
No, this it is indeed the office you thought it was, and that is the window that you could have gone through.
Okay. Cool.
So I've not been writing down anything that Alan doesn't know. So I don't know what part of the city those guys were in when they came into this office. So whereabouts are we?
So you can guess on the fact this looks kind of like an academic building that you would be in the district of Puzzle.
I do remember you saying that now. Yeah, thanks.
Can we look in this other drawer?
Yeah, the other drawer opens. You have a look at the lock. The lock seems to be functioning, so it doesn't look like this one was locked. And again, just the kind of things you'd expect in an academic's kind of drawer. So again, a couple of blank sheets of paper. Again, more pen and ink. A kind of slim academic pamphlet that is again not really too interesting. It's it's like a history of Ramshackle's interactions with kind of other planes through the gate, very much just kind of listing this date, this kind of plane, this kind of culture, and then on to the next one. So
I'm gonna pocket that actually.
Yeah, absolutely can do that.
Can I ask a bit of a meta question, which is, would I know Faria?
Do you think it makes sense for you two to know each other? I think we've said actually this group have all worked together before.
Yeah,
I
either
think
like in pairs,
like
or
on previous jobs that have come up, I reckon you'll have met.
I've probably chased her down and admired her grappling hook at some point.
Faria, I know that your father's obviously more of a tailor than a tinker, but can you figure out how the lock was broken? Was it force, or do you think they used something on the desk?
I can take a look.
Yeah, let me just. What what are you kind of using to take a look at this? Do you have? You've got Smith's tools.
I do,
So
yes.
make me a proficiency roll with your Smith tools. So plus your dex plus plus 3.
19.
Ooh, yeah. So it very much seems like something small but quite strong for its size just seized onto this desk and kind of applied pressure in extreme pressure in a kind of controlled way to open it. So there wasn't a lot of finesse, but it was something small and strong for its size.
Not a load of rodents having lock picks in their mouths then and trying to, like rats of Nim style.
No, it looks like it's definitely this. It's definitely kind of wrecked the lock. The tumblers are kind of bent out of shape.
Okay, so
I was imagining like 20 rats in a trench coat.
like a rat king.
Yeah.
It looks like it was forced in a very specific way, but definitely sort of mangled it from the inside.
But that doesn't make any sense. Why would rodents want to open a drawer in a dead guy's office?
Yeah, I'll say it as well.
Back to bed, actually. You guys have got this, right?
You're staying with us.
Sorry.
Sorry, James.
I will say as well for Faria, you get the impression that whoever did this, while probably too small to like use tools, was smart.
Okay.
It knew how locks worked.
Right. Okay. So it knew what it was doing, even though we don't know what it is.
Can I
look for some? Can I look for footprints? Both in the room and look out the window and see if there's any outside.
Absolutely. Give me an investigation check again.
A 3. Great.
So that does come up to a 10 total, but no, I don't think that you see much more that Wendy hasn't already picked out. So there's just that little trail of scratches in the floorboards kind of up to your leg, and then towards the window. It's hard to say whether it's in or out or both.
I was just about to say, did they go in both directions?
Yeah, I was going to say as well, I'll just climb out of the window and start taking a look outside. I'm looking for grates, drains, sewers, anything that rats could climb up through.
Yeah, fantastic.
Are you
just going to go take a look.
Or
Because,
are we just going to assume that you're buggering off?
No, I'll just be back in a bit. I'm just going to look outside and I'll just be like...
All right, give me
I could walk
an
around,
athletics
but then,
check. Give me an athletics check to climb out this window.
Oh,
it's
man.
like it's not hard to climb out a window. The athletics check is to make sure you do this without like disturbing too much in the room. It's like you're in a crime
I'm using
scene.
my cursed dice here as well. So, dirty 20 though, not that cursed.
Very good. Yeah, so it's very, very smoothly without stepping on it. So you, Alan, kind of lifts up the window and vaults out of it into the outside. This is the smooth action of someone who knows what they're doing.
How many coffees has he had this morning?
Actually, I had an apple stolen off from me this morning. I've not really eaten much at all.
I had a pint of porridge.
You had some Guinness, I think, didn't you?
Yeah, Guinness.
Yeah, it was a breakfast beer. It did have oats in it, so it was not unlike porridge.
Perfectly normal. But yeah, I'll be looking around for kind of any gutters around the edge of the square that rats might follow, or
absolutely.
sewer entrances, that kind of thing.
Let me just do something on.
I'm sitting down on one of the stools now.
All right, I'm gonna.
I can't look at that.
There you go. So you've emerged into the quad. And what you
there's me.
Can see is there are a few statues of famous academics who've been to this institution, like former headmasters and the like. And you do see in the middle a water feature, a little pond with a little fountain. And yeah, a little grate at the bottom for the water to fall through, presumably into the sewers. That's the only obvious thing you can see in that area that might maybe a rodent or something similar size might have escaped down or come out of. Okay. And make me a perception check as well while you're out here.
Okay. Where is my... There it is. Come on, cursed dice, don't fail me. It's only a 9.
Okay, give me 1 second. I have to make my first roll of this game.
Oh no.
Ooh.
No. Webs, no.
Yeah, you don't see
Have some
anything.
really evil
No.
music in the background, reaching a crescendo.
It's a nice morning. It's a lovely garden. The water feature kind of burbles. You can hear the sounds of learning from some of the open
The
windows
sounds
on
of
the other side of the
learning.
quad. Yeah,
Down
just
it, down it,
there's-
down it.
this is not so much the students' union as one of the academic buildings. So there's just the sound of someone lecturing, kind of gently droning off in the distance. It's quite nice.
This might be a weird question. Can
Oh.
I smell anything specific around the room?
That's a very good question. Roll me a perception check as well.
21.
Ooh, baby. Okay, let's go back to the room. I'm gonna do some. So there you go. You've got an academic paper there. I will fill in the result of what you have smelled. So let's say the window's on this side of the room. But yeah, you get a strong scent of something sewery. So
Ooh.
something. It's unpleasant. It's a little bit fatty, a little bit dirty. You don't like it very much.
No.
Let's see what else we've got. So I'm just going to draw a line there to show where the body fell from.
Would it be possible to check to see if I can lock the door from the inside? Because the last thing we need right now is for someone to walk in.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, no.
I don't think that's too hard. The door definitely has like a little bolt on the on this side that
I'm
you can.
very quietly going to. Can I'm assuming that it's the kind of bolt that just goes up and slides, so I don't need both hands for it.
Absolutely.
Okay, cool.
So you close that.
Mhm.
Text go there. Good. I think those are the main things you've worked out about the room. So yeah, you all hear this kind of smooth, sliding, clunky sound of a bolt sliding into place. What else do you wish to do? Does Alan want to do anything out in the quad? Do any of you want to do anything?
Can I
In the room?
follow the smell, potentially?
With a 21, you 100% can.
Okay.
You can. It definitely feels stronger near the window.
Okay. If I climb out the window, would I be able to follow it around the quad, do you think?
Yeah, that might involve. You know what? No, you rolled 21. So yes, you can absolutely follow it around the quad.
Okay.
Do you want to go out the window?
Sure, yeah.
I was while Farrier's climbing out, I was going to come back, poke my head through, and just say, so let's say that I believe you that some rat with a lot of brains came in, snuck in, and stole something from a drawer. Hypothetically speaking,
Mm-hmm.
probably went down a drain out here, I think.
I mean, it smells that way.
That was
Okay,
me.
if we're running with this theory,
I'll just
how
be
does-
like-
how does a rat cave somebody's head in?
Yeah, okay,
Well,
okay.
it
Let's
doesn't look as
say that
though the body has any external issues, right?
If we're
So-
looking at... Sorry, go
I
ahead.
mean, it's a bit cold at the minute.
If we're
Well, no, it
looking...
doesn't look as though anyone hit this academic.
But if we're looking at something that can dissect a lock with a considerable amount of force in a very specific way without leaving much in an external manner, possibly, if he just bled from the nose, then it could have done the same with his face, potentially, or his head, if it knows the inner mechanisms of something and can affect them through a surface. Maybe some kind of psychic or force damage, I'm not sure. That would be my idea.
Yep.
Interesting.
All makes perfect sense. Yep. So we're talking about a psychic rat with a very small prying crowbar.
That smells really bad.
Yep. This all sounds perfectly feasible to me.
Okay, right. Motive. We have motive.
Well, not at the moment. I mean, from the
No. The motive was in the
thing
drawer.
on the desk, it's not exactly.
Yeah, whatever was taken from the drawer will be what motive is. I
Well,
imagine.
exactly, but we don't have anyone else to ask about it.
Maybe the
Not
rat
going back
overheard
out
him
there.
talking about his academic paper and just lost it when it got to the end of the title because it was so bloody boring.
We've probably been there for a couple
Maybe
of
it was a
hours by
pet
that
rat.
point.
I mean,
Maybe
to
it
be
was
fair,
in a cage, and then he was like, "I can't take it anymore," and just broke open the drawer. And
there's no cages in here, Alan.
fine, I'm out. I had an idea. That's my one idea for the day.
Yeah. Some stuff that I'll say to you as the GM, just to make sure I'm making this clear. You haven't had a really good look around the rest of the room yet.
Bookshelves.
Like, yeah, there are bookshelves. You found some tracks, and you've worked out how kind of the forensics of how the blood spat and how the body fell. But there might be other things here. I just want to make that clear on like a meta level, just so you're not thinking that you've found everything there is to find, and I'm leaving you in the lurch.
Okay. To the bookshelves.
Well, Hugo. While Faria goes running around outside, chasing down a smell, we'll look at the shelves. Is that what's happening?
I think
That
so.
can absolutely be
I'll be
what's
out
happening.
if you need
Yeah.
me.
Okay, so we'll deal with the bookshelves first. So you have a look at the shelves. Can someone give me? I will want one of you to give me a perception check and another to give me an investigation check.
I think I should do the investigation.
You
Yes.
absolutely can. If you're doing this together, then you can do these at advantage because you're helping each other.
Okay.
So advantage means you roll twice and take the highest.
Okay, so I won't be taking the 2 then. So what was my rolling next? Oh, 3. Brilliant. Love it.
Okay, so that's your perception check. That's fine.
I got a 12 and a 20.
Is that with the numbers with your
No,
modifier
that's just
added?
the numbers on the die.
So you rolled a 20 on your investigation.
Ooh.
Fantastic. So a natural 20 for 27 total. That's amazing. We're going to do Sarah first. So Wendy, you kind of have a look at the bookshelf in general, at the titles, whilst Jack is kind of rooting through them a little bit more actively, and kind of looking to see which ones have been touched recently, which ones have dust on them or not. And what you see is that these sure are some books.
Cool.
They have
I'm more of a doer rather than a reader, to be honest.
like what you can tell is they seem to be made of paper.
Okay, cool.
They've got mostly leather covers.
Okay.
And you know what? These bookshelves are made out of a really nice cherry wood.
Okay.
And you just admire the workmanship for a bit.
Okay, cool.
Meanwhile, Jack, you were looking through the books, and it looks like, based on like the patterns of dust and the marks therein, the ones that have been pulled out more recently are again books relating to again that extraplanar diplomacy, but specifically because you have a look at the contents pages and cross-reference them, and the things that seem to be in common between all these books are cultures where rebirth is definitely a part of their society, societies that have people with kind of like telepathic or psychic abilities come up a fair amount. Several of these books reference a little known kind of set of city-states that seem to be referenced in the academic paper on the table as well, called the Tangle, which seems to be a collection of almost like free-floating city-states that travel almost between dimensions. So often they don't have a lot of contact with other places because they're always moving. So their neighbors keep changing. And you just get a bit of an idea of what is important to that place, and some of the different things that seem to be referenced for this academic paper. The common kind of species that people interact with when they come across the Tangle are like things like the Githzerai, who are a kind of telepathic psionic species. The Illithids come up as well, also known as mind flayers, who are quite nasty if you get on their bad side.
Really, they did not give that away.
Yeah. Again, telepathic psychic abilities, kind of like squid-like appendages coming out of their face.
Sorry, what did you say the Githzerai do?
They are kind of quite contemplative and thoughtful. They use their kind of telepathic and psionic abilities to kind of contemplate the nature of the universe, whereas the Illithids are more actively interpersonal, shall we say. But what you find as well from you check in the paper as well, and it seems that actually a lot of what people think about these species, especially as they're present in the Tangle, is a misapprehension, because the ones who've ended up in the Tangle are ones who, as may have been referenced earlier, have been reborn in some way. So they are in some way separate from their previous societies, so they might not fit the kind of stereotypes of what you'd expect those peoples to be. So a lot of people who have interacted with the Tangle see, all right, we're dealing with the Githzerai, we're dealing with the Illithids, and they think that they'll work in a certain way, and they don't. You also get, in one footnote, there is a reference to some people from the Tangle who are shape changers of some kind. They're referenced as changelings. They always seem to be humanoid, but it's often hard to tell if you've encountered one, because often they'll pretend to be Illithid or Githzerai, and you won't know unless you see them change. And it seems like they have some good reason to try and stay hidden. Finally, you got a natural 20, so I had to tell you lots of stuff.
Yeah, but Jack doesn't have to tell the rest of us, so
Yes,
that's going to be fun.
That's absolutely true. Finally, the thing you'll note is that anyone who has been reborn in this way will have some mark on them, either something small or it could be something big, that is indicative of death in some way. So they might have like visible veins or necrosis, or they might be a bit zombie-ish or a bit vampire-ish, in some place or in some way that is discernible. Yeah, that's what you get.
All going down in my little investigator's pad.
Brilliant.
While Wendy looks at stuff.
Yep, no, seriously, the person who made this really knew what they were doing on this on these bookshelves. You have a quick look to see if there's like a maker's mark in case you want some furniture for yourself later.
Look at the dovetailing on this corner.
Ooh, love it. Just the grain of the wood. And I think from like Jack's perspective, we get like a kind of Sherlock style investigative montage where you're looking at things and they're popping up on the screen. You can cross-reference them. So that's a fun editing challenge for Hugo. You do not have to do that. Okay. Well, that was a joke.
Hugo's outside. Faria's outside sniffing the ground.
Absolutely. So let's cut to there. So I'm going to switch the maps again. So here you go. You're here. You follow the scent, and I think you got rolled high on your on your perception check. So I think you can follow it. And again, yeah, it kind of seems like it starts from that grate by the fountain.
Okay.
And then, yeah, as you expect, it goes to the office, which is kind of up here. Comes back out of the office, but doesn't immediately go back to the fountain and that grate into the sewer.
Ooh.
So you're kind of following it. Currently, you're following it through these kind of bushes around here, around this statue, and it seems like it goes maybe further down in that direction.
Okay. Should I guess do I see that it may be coming to the source of the smell?
It's hard to say. It smells like it's a fairly recent trail, which is
Okay.
how you can follow it, because over time, especially if it's just been in this place and followed this path once, it'll definitely fade.
Okay.
But you could follow it further, but it's just this is where you've got to in the time that you've had.
Okay, sure. Yeah, I'll follow it a little bit further.
Okay, cool. So you follow it across this path here, and it seems like it leads kind of around this statue. So I'm going to ask you at this point to make another perception check.
Okay. 15.
You don't. Yeah, it kind of follows around past the statue and kind of round behind it, and you're looking around the ground and a little bit of shrubbery around it. You can't see anything.
Okay.
And I'm gonna ask everyone to roll initiative now.
We're all gonna die. Eternally level 1. All dice and no skill.
Oh, dice! I need my dice. Where are my dice?
Oh.
Oh, they're here. They're here. They're right next to me. It's okay. It's okay, folks.
There we go.